Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back to Behind the Build. We're building out datastudio.vip. Basically, I'm just sharing the journey of building something that we do every day for clients. But hey, now I can share with you guys. What I'm going to do is just kind of open up with starting with some planning, and then we're just going to go all the way through Tag Manager, Elementor, and even getting set up with Google Analytics because I have a new domain name, new everything that we're just going to start out with. So I'm excited to see how this goes because we're going to do it live, unedited, because this is the real world. We're going to show you how long it takes someone like myself to go through from Tag Manager setup all the way through to at least having some useful events up in there. So there'll probably be some fumbling around, but hopefully this is at least a little bit helpful for you to start on your journey of creating measurement that is both adaptable and you can create awesome visualizations at the end of it. So I'm going to think, boom, there we go. Look at this, fancy, fancy. What I'm going to do is I'm going to actually start out with creating a little bit of a plan. So just for you guys, and I'm going to try and narrate myself. This is not wanting to work. Cool. So we're going to have tag manager, right? So we're going to have TM. This is awesome. Which is then going to be placed on our Elementor WordPress website. So we got WordPress, which is then going to go to our GA account. So that is all the planning that we need to do right now. Is we're going to have GA, which is going to be inside of Tag Manager, which is going to be on the WordPress website, and the WordPress website, which is embellished by Elementor. So if all this means gibberish to you, that is okay because I am getting better at teaching. Elementor, EM. Cool. So that's what we're going to do. So starting off, let's just hop into it. So I'm going to go into open up. Let's start off with analytics. So Google Analytics. And again, this is a brand new situation. So we've got JJ at datastudio.vip. And we're going to start measuring, and we're going to call this datastudio.vip. And what I'm going to actually do is we're just going to create a basic like universal analytics. I know GA4 is all the rage. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to advanced options and create this. And I think that that's going to be about it. We're going to just create a universal analytics property only. And we are at datastudio.vip. And why is it not letting me say previous? Oh, property name. Do I still need that? And yeah, boom, next. We're going to say we are in the category of education. Boom. Small, and let's go with that. Boom. You can tell I do this quite a bit. I accept everything. You can do whatever you like with my information. And I don't want all this. So boom. All right, got it. I don't want this. Okay, cool. We've got our tracking ID, and that is good enough. I think the only thing we need to do from here is, yeah, we'll just do that. I know some things I'm already going to want, so we're going to do custom definitions. This is advanced, so we're just going to go with this. So GA client ID, and then we're going to create that at the session level, and then we are going to create a GA hit ID. And then we're going to have a GA session ID at the session level. What do you know? Don't worry about this now. I just create those ahead of time because I know that I always use them and I want them to be in spots 1, 2, and 3. So yeah, who cares about everything else? I think we're good to go. Next thing is tag manager. Don't have anything here. All right, create an account. Boom, datastudio.vip, United States. I love to share information. Sharing is caring. We're going to be web. Boom. Yes. Those are always great. All right. We got this stuff. Okay, cool. Now let's log in. So I think that's it. That's it. Boom. Hold on one sec while I grab all of my lovely password information here. Well, I hope this was at least a little bit informative so far. What we're going to do here is I'm going to do back to my lovely face. It's one of these. Hey, there we go. All right, I'm going to put my information in just in case we don't want any of you guys out here being wild, you know. Okay, cool. So I think we've got this. Let me just log in and we and I. Okay. And we are in. Okay, cool. So we are inside the back end of datastudio.vip. Let me share back with what we're looking at. Boom. This is nothing fancy. This is just our temporary like staging website. So let me just show you what the actual site looks like. And it looks like this. We got some cool animations. We've got a secret link. We've got this behind the build. We've then got a form down here. And then on every individual page, we've got a form. And then we've got this. So now we're just going to hop into Tag Manager or hop in here. So the plugin that we use, which would 10 out of 10 recommend, is going to be GTM for WP. And it's a free plugin. It's freaking awesome. It's literally the best thing in the world. If you ever have, like, I've never had a problem with it. We use it for dozens of client sites. So that's what we're going to go with. I'm going to go in here, settings, tag manager. I'm going to grab our ID and we're just going fast here, guys. So if you have any questions at all, join the mailing list and hit reply on any of those emails. We're going to go with footer because that's cool. And the basic data, like what I like to do is post title, post date. The author is going to be me. I think I'm just looking for the individual post. Oh, archive. Boom. We're already good. Okay. Hit save changes on that. I think that's all we needed. The rest we'll do in tag manager. So in here, what we're going to do is we're going to start off with our variables. We're going to open up this. We're going to configure all of these little things. And I wish they just have a button of like, hey, I want to see everything all the time because it's sometimes useful. Sometimes it's not useful, but we don't need that. So again, I'm going to go really fast here just because I can do that because I am making the video for you. And yeah, if anybody has any questions, datastudio.vip is just me a fun resource. Literally, I make stuff just for fun because I want to share the things that we get to do. So if I hit exit, what we're going to actually do is submit these changes. So that we at least have some semblance of a, I guess, working thing over here. Next thing, what we're going to do, again, we're just using universal analytics. I know that GA4 is all the rage here, but I am personally marred by it, by a few experiences. So down here, what we're going to do is something called our Google Analytics settings variable, which is, boom. All right, we're going to go back over here. We're going to grab our tracking code. Boom, boom, boom. Fields to set. We're not going to do anything right now. We're going to call this gas data studio VIP and ignore the rest of that. Okay, so next thing is we are going to set up some tags for this. So the first things first, because it's always first, is a page view, settings, this, we're going to use the normal page view, all pages, boom. And naming conventions are life or death in here. We're then going to have a page view. I want to then do some scroll depths. So what we're going to do is actually event scroll report. We are then going to do the action of percentages. So I'm going to use like, we'll just do this. Okay. Scroll depth unit or threshold, right? And then here is we're going to put in something else later. And the trigger for here is going to be a scroll depth trigger. and it's gonna be vertical scroll because we don't care about anything else. I like to just use 10, 25, 50, 75, 90. We're gonna do some pages, and here's like a ninja tactic. If we go in here, we're gonna create a new variable, and let's see how fast I can grab our SOP for scroll depth. And boom, got it. Okay, cool. So here is our super ninja hack. What we're going to do is we're going to create a JavaScript variable. This right here is just going to say height, grab the document body. It's basically the scrollable height. So CJS for custom JavaScript, scroll height, bubble height, boom. And so then, boom, so it's going to, basically when this is greater than, I'm going to use 3000. GA event scroll depth. And then we're just going to check here. Oh, wait, scroll depth. And then we're going to put this as 10, 25, 50, 75, 90. Boom, that's the trigger. And now we're back in here. So we've got the scroll report, this thing, label. We're just going to do this in percent. So it'll be like 10%, 25%, blah, 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 blah. The label, I'm going to leave blank right now. So previously I've been doing something where we basically will put in the pixels, the height pixels of the page. But what I'm going to actually do, I'm going to actually put that in the gas variable. So GA event scroll report, hit save on that sucker. We're then going to go into our variables, and I'm just kind of working like as I go. I'm sure I'm going to miss some stuff here, so don't sue me. We're going to go in here. We're going to go into custom dimensions, create a custom dimension of number 4 of this, and we're going to do that as the scrollable height. We're going to hit save on that. We go back in here, going to create another custom definition right here, and then we're going to do page height. So basically every single hit will then have the page height. That's not what I needed there. So then we've got those. Next thing is that the client ID situation. So in our handy dandy Simo Ahava, it's called a custom task. And we're going to look for GA client ID. And I'm going to leave the other ones blank for right now just because they're called a custom task. Down here, he's got all of the little handy dandy information. But what I'm going to do is I'm just going to find where he tells us how to do it. And I'm just going to copy and paste because I know it works. But he loves to like tell us like everything, right? So I don't want everything. I just want how to do it. Okay, here we go. This is not it. Hot damn. Where is it? Maybe on the wrong blog post. Well, now this just got really boring. I'm probably just all nervous because you guys are watching me. What in the world? All right, we're just going to go back a sec and just type in GA client ID, custom task. I literally do this all the time, so we are... Okay, here we go. This is the right one. Hot diggity dog. That took forever. So I already know this works because I've seen it before. That was just a lot. Sorry about that. Okay, so here we go. We're in here. Custom JavaScript. Drop it in this. I already know that this is going to be number 1 because this is the client ID. And so CJS custom I'm just going to say custom task client ID number 1. And we're not going to screw with the other stuff because that is too much. So then we're going to go back to our gas variable. So, and put in another one here. Oh, this is dumb. I always forget you can't move these around, but it's okay. So what we're going to do is we actually don't have to do this because we're going to do a field to set here, and we're going to say field to set, and it's going to be called a custom task, and it doesn't show up, which is always odd to me. And then we're going to put in that client ID. So this is the field to set custom task and then client ID, and that's going to set that as number 1. All right, so next thing is we have our click triggers. So now I'm going to set up a new GA event for clicks. So GA event, and I call this the click report. And we're going to say the click URL is, and I'm just going to use this click URL, and we're going to put in here click URL because I find that always is the most action. Sorry. So we're going to put this click text and then click text, and the label is a click URL hyphen, and then we're going to put in the click ID, which is ID, and then we're going to put in click elements. All right, cool. That is cool. And we're going to put this as the gas variable, and we're going to say put this, and we're going to create a new trigger for all links, and we're just going to say all links. Okay. So cool. All right, so we got this, we got our click report, we got our tour report, we got our page report. I'm gonna just hit preview on this, and I think it's gonna work. Boom. All right, all right, all right. Oh, I hate when it does this. Okay, so we are previewing it, and as you can see here, let's see, why is it not opening in a new tab? I always don't like when it does this. So what we're going to actually do here is, for some reason, it wants to open a new tab. So we're going to axnay on that. But here you can see it's working, right? We've got our message. Let's just check if our page view worked. Ta-da! We're going to look at the values of this, and you can see that that custom task worked. Boom, there. We got cookie domain on auto. It doesn't really matter. Index 4. The page height is 463. Which looks like it's good to go. I'm just going to hit reopen. I just want to open a new window, so we're going to scratch that. All right, let's just say it's working. So next thing I want to do is I want to say capture our Elementor forms. So this is probably the title of the video because this is the coolest thing I ever did. And so what I'm actually going to do is go into datastudio.vip, and we're going to actually put in some actual scripts over here. So in Elementor, this is specific to that, they have custom code here. Create a new custom code, and it's going to go on everything, and this is going to be a form submission. So if I find Elementor on success form submission, you'll add these functions. So here's what's happening. I've already written this because we use this for all of our clients who use Elementor as like an SOP for us. So I'm going to go over there and check that out. And here we go. Okay, boom. So we are back. There we go. Okay, so this is what we're looking at, which is our overall, like, oh, my head's not in this all the way. So what this is basically going to do is it's going to listen for, what is it? Okay, we don't care. It's looking for an onSuccess handler for JavaScript, which is a jQuery and all that jazz, but who cares? Doesn't matter. All that we need to know is that onSuccess, it will create a data layer if there's no data layer, and then push the event of Elementor form submitted. And I'm just going to hit publish on that sucker, and we're going to put it on the entire site there. Cool. So what should happen now is on our posts, let's go to all posts, and then let's just look at, I don't know, WTF we are doing. Boom. So on this form submission, it should fire a script, but we're actually going to go one step deeper and we're going to edit this blog post. So we're going to build blog and we're going to actually create a new tag right here, which is going to be an element visibility trigger. Sorry, new tag event. And this is going to be called a lead journey into the center of the earth. And we're just going to lead journey and then this as impression. And then we want to know the impression of what, which we will figure that out later. And our trigger, which is going to be a new trigger of element visibility right here. We're going to use the ID of inline build blog. I know. I'm original. Cool. So what we're going to do is we're going to actually put that in here. So if you go into this little sucker, let me just go into the actual form. We got the blog newsletter, but then in the advanced section, we can put in the CSS ID of inline blog, whatever. And I'm going to actually hyphenate that inline blog. I think that's allowed. All right, so that's inline blog, and we're going to hit update on that sucker. We're going to go back here, put this in, boom. We're going to call this inline. Oh my gosh, I can't speak. Inline blog impression. So it's going to only fire once when it's viewed 50% of the time, right? And that's what's going to happen. So I'm going to hit save on that, and then we're going to say impression, and I think that we can use the form name. What's it called? Form. ID. I don't know. We're going to see what happens. I'm going to hit save on this. GA. If I get this right on the first try, I deserve a tip. I'm just kidding. There's no tips. Name. Title. I give up. We're just going to leave it blank because I don't think that's right. GA event lead journey 1 impression. 1 impression. Okay, here we go. Let's see if we get this right on the first try. Oh, we need to set our gas variable and hit save. Cool. So now we're going to preview this. And we're going to go to /build. Please work. Don't pop up in a new window. All right, it popped up in a new window, so you can't see what's happening. So I'm sorry about that. Okay, cool. But the thing that we need to know is that if I go here to a blog, did it pop? And you can see here, here's my thing. So we went to the build. We then went here and it did pop, and we have the impression right here. So you can see here that that impression did fire because of all the pieces that happened. What I want to do though is I want to see if I can get the name of the thing to show up. The click text is keep me in the loop, but nothing is here. Okay, form text, keep me in the loop. Where in the world is that even? Oh, that's the button. Okay, cool. We're just gonna use the form ID then, because inline build blog, we're gonna call that. And then we're gonna put that in, shoot, what did I just say? Form ID, cool. So in our impression, we're gonna actually impression of what, and it's gonna be called, what did I just call it? Text, form text, I think that's what it's called. And then what we're gonna do is we're actually gonna go in here and see if we can add spaces. So without the, you add your custom ID. If I add inline news build blog, do you think that that will show up? Inline. All right, screw it. We're keeping with what we had. So what I want to do then is also change this inline build blog. Hopefully that, let's add newsletter. Okay, cool. We're rocking that. So if you add this, we then go here. what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to actually change the name of the form name to be the same thing, and you'll see why in a hot sec. So we're going to keep the name the same, and then that is there. And so then now I'm going to change the trigger, so hopefully impression of that thing happens. And I'm going to change this to true because it seems a little bit excessive and it's kind of high on the page. Update this, hit save, and then I am so confident in myself that I'm actually going to duplicate this and then go to the next step. So impression, and we're going to duplicate this, and then we're going to go to aware. And so basically what we're going to say is change this to aware, and then if this is on the screen, so we're going to copy this, aware, for 5 seconds. So what we're going to do is say, nope, once per page, and then if it's on the page for at least, I don't know, what, 7 seconds? That seems right, about right. And boom, so the not should fire when 7 seconds happens, and then hit save. And then now I'm gonna go to the third, oops. Impression is 1, aware is 2. Come on, JJ, you got this. And then we need to change this down here to aware. What are we at as far as time? We're at 26 minutes. Holy cow, hot damn. We're going to go to another one. So then impression aware. And then we're going to hit up convert, which will do event. And then this is going to be 3. And then it's going to be convert. So we got all of our stages of the journey here. And I think it's going to be form text still, but we're not sure about that. So now what we're going to do is we're going to open this up. We're going to create a new trigger, and then I believe it's a custom event called, shoot, what was it called? Let's exit out of this darn thing. If you go back to Elementor, custom, I should know this by now, but we're going to keep moving. It is called Elementor form submitted in title camel case. I think that's what it's called. And CE for custom event for all those playing at home. And we're gonna hit save on this. And then let's just try exit out of this and see if it likes us enough to preview it in the same window so you guys can see too. I don't know why it's not doing that. Sometimes Elementor, sometimes Tag Manager doesn't like me. Please don't open up in a new window. It opened up in a new window. Cool. So what I'm going to actually do is see if I can exit out of this sucker and drop it into the new window for you guys. All right, so when this happens, I don't know what to do. So we're just going to try one last thing. If I go to preview here and then hit connect, if it's going to open with a new window, it's going to be a little turd like that. That's okay. Because we're going to hit share, hit copy, then drop this in here. And now it's like Inception. All right, well, it still pops up a new session. Cool. Well, you're going to have to take me at my word for it that everything is working. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm split screening on my screen, which is not helpful to you, but hopefully it's a little bit helpful to everybody. And I want to step through it on my screen. So on my screen, I'll tell you what I'm doing. So first things first is we are on datastudio.build, and you can see that here. So if I go here, like you'll see the page title under this page URL. So we're here /build. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to actually click on a article. So now I'm clicking on an article for you to see. It's going to be the WTF kicking off. WTF is happening. So now you'll see that window loaded, element visibility fired because it's right there. Now if I go back to the page, it should wait for me and then it will fire again. Boom. All right. So that one should fire. And boom, aware. And then so lastly, if I fill the form out, so I'm going to put test and then test at test.com, hit keep me in the loop, and theoretically, boom, form submitted, convert happened. Is it the right name? Nope. Label is keep me in the loop. So we do not want that. We're going to have to find another variable that makes sense. So under variables, what did I call it? Inline. We're going to use the click ID. the form ID. All right, cool. Keeping it simple. So on this convert stage, we will then have form ID. Okay, cool. So now we have impression aware and convert for that. I think this is a good, I'm gonna hit submit on this. It works. So we've got our initial, I don't know, events, GA, and then we'll go from there. So, all right, we're about 30 minutes, I think. Yeah, we're at 30 minutes and 20 seconds. I'm gonna pause it right here. I hope this at least makes sense to you. I'm just gonna show you the final thing right here. If I hit submit, we are now up and running. So I hope this was helpful. In 30 minutes, I was able to get our click report, our school report, our events as far as the general like sign up events, all using Elementor. And we went from 0 to creating all the accounts in like 30 minutes. So I think the next 30 minutes we'll actually finish that out and then start on Data Studio. So if this was all helpful, drop a like, drop a comment, poke around the website because, hey, it's being built and I learn to build things in public. And if this was at all helpful, leave a comment. Otherwise, I will see you guys next time on Behind the Build. Cue music.